Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We are just ending the festival of Pesach, and we are counting the Omer, and we are getting closer now to go to Shavuot, a beautiful time in which this festival is the giving of the Torah. As I wrote to you in the last blog, if you remember the Shalosh Regalim, the three more important HaMoedim, or appointed times of the Creator. And these were the three ones to go to Jerusalem and to get together there. They were Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. I asked this rhetorical question. Why is not the most holy of the holies festivals, according to our sages, Yom HaKippurim in them, is not as important as the other three? And I gave it to you a picture. And the picture was past, present, and future. You know, the present is Shavuot. And we are under the Torah. And we need to live the Torah. I explained to you about the role of Yeshua and why he's considered the Messiah for many of us. You know, and I need to make a separation. Our understanding about Yeshua as the Messiah, from the point of view of the Torah, from the biblical understanding, not from a religious like Christianity, or from the negative attitude of the rabbis that they are reacting to a religion instead to look at the person. You know, have you heard that saying? They say, don't throw the baby with the bad water. You know, and that's what they have done. Yeshua has received a very bad name, or bad reputation, if we want to put it, because of what Gentile has done with his name. You know, they created a term, Jesus Christ. And by the way, this is not to try to be despectful to put down any religion. But most of the people who they call themselves Christians, they know who Jesus Christ is. But as you ask them about Yeshua, the Messiah, they say, what is that? You know? And it's not only semantics. It's not only that I don't understand a name. It's more than that. It's what it means for those people. The meaning. You know, when you elevate a human being to the level of God, you create a new religion. Now, Rabbinical Judaism and every Judaism reacts against that because that is not part of Torah. Then we need to be very careful that sometimes that we do not make a judgment upon everything only because what we have heard other people say about something. Not necessarily because somebody says something about certain points, make it right. I'm going to give you a personal example. When I was a young man, a long time ago, I was 19 years old, I remember very clear. I declared myself in a sovereign way, I was going to be an atheist. Because, you see, only dummy people without brains, can believe in a supreme being. You know, we are our own makers. And for a period of time, I was a very outspoken atheist, until, of course, I had an experience that changed my life. But for that time of period, I was telling everybody that there is no God. Now, I am a human being. Because I tell people that there is no God, that means that God doesn't exist. Do I have the power to eliminate the Creator? You know, this is my saying. And many people, sadly enough, they take the word of the human being over the word of the Creator. How many times I have been telling you about that we do not have the right to change the word of God. You know? And Devarim, in Deuteronomy, in chapter 4, verse 2, specifically say that we cannot change the word of God. We cannot add it or take anything away from it. We can interpret it, we can say, we can give principles, but no, we cannot change it. No, Then what happened? These three major religions that you have, rabbinical Judaism, you have Christianity, and you have Islam. We can call it mother, sister religions, or you can call it sister religions if you want it. All they derive from the Torah and the Revelation and Har Sinai. All of them, they have something in common. What it is? Each one of them, they has proclaimed that they are the only one that has the true God. Then already you have three gods. Maybe the Christians, they're winning now. Three gods. No? God of the Jews, God of the Gentiles, and God of the Muslims. Wait a minute. They have another thing in common. You know, how can you have, each one has their own God is the only true God, and the other one, they don't have the true God. You know? They say. Secondly, they all, the three of these three religions, they have something in particular. Each one of them, they have their own books that they have elevated to the level of being authoritative and over the Torah. In rabbinical Judaism, they have the Shear al Peh, the oral Torah. Today, some of them known as the Talmud or something like that. In Christianity, they have what they call it the New Testament. You know, the books that they supposedly talks about Yeshua, and these books are as holy as the Tanakh or the Hebrew scriptures, and they have the capability, like the rabbis, they tell you that the oral Torah interprets the Torah. The Christians say that their New Testament interprets the Torah. Then each one of them, they play and they do whatever they want to do, and they say whatever they want to say. And then you have Islam. Islam, they have the book, the Quran. And the Quran, exactly the same thing. They are the ones that they have the right revelation, interpreted, and what they do is they say that they correct Christianity and rabbinical Judaism. And maybe going to come another religion. There has come other sects in Christianity. For example, you have the Mormons, that they have the Book of Mormon. That you have the Seventh-day Adventists, that they have the Book of a Lady. And they have other sects that they have their own books. And all of them, they have a particularity. They are the ones that they're going to give you light to understand the Torah. And doing that, they replace the Torah by their own words. What happened with Yeshua and Messiah? If you make a study in rabbinical Judaism and you ask mostly the rabbis, what is one of the principal roles of what the Messiah is going to do? And one of the answers that they're going to give it to you, and I can give you many books that have been written about that by rabbis, most of them, the consensus it is that the Messiah is going to bring us back to Torah. That is the first statement. The Messiah needs to bring us back to Torah. Why need to bring us back to Torah? Because our own people has gone away, run away from the Torah. How have they run away from the Torah? They have made their own traditions, they have made their own doctrines, they have written their own principles, and doing that, they have covered up the true word of God. And this is something that we need to take our head up. You know, when Jeremiah Hanavi, the great prophet Jeremiah, the crying prophet, you know, after all that they suffered and they were exiled, he wrote about something that was very important because he realized that his people were suffering with lack of Torah. Why? Because they had changed so much the word of God that they were following men and they were not following the Creator. And what he wrote? Cursed be the man who trusts in men. Blessed be the man who trusts in the Creator. And he himself say, who can know the heart of man? Deceitful it is. And then the Creator responded, I am the only one that can know the true heart of man, and I weigh the heart of man, and I test the heart of man. And I give it to them according to their heart, lev. This is another thing that is very important to understand today. Lev has nothing to do with feelings. Lev needs to be with understanding, notions, and intention, action, doing things. This morning, the parasha of this morning is in certain ways difficult, controversial sometimes for some of our sages. And I'm going to tell you why. What is so difficult. First of all, in this parasha, we're going to see the inauguration of the Kohanim, or the priesthood. The name of the parasha is called Shemini on the 8th day. The number 8 in itself already carry a lot of meanings. I have shared with you this before. Then after that, we are going to see one of the most difficult situation that happened to Aaron, the Gadol Kohen, the high priest. His two elder children, Nadab and Abihu, are killed because they offer what we call it, we translate it, Sarah-esh, or strange fire, foreign fire. And then immediately, the Creator is going to talk about holiness, separation, cleanness, tahor and tamei, clean and unclean. And then he was to talk about the kashrut laws or kosher laws. The rabbis are so good about that. And I'm going to put it all together in a way that we can understand better the scriptures and the Torah. Because sometimes, like I said to you before, I do not like so much the hocus pocus. I like to bring more an understanding for today. The Torah, it is not a book that is an old book. It's a book for today. It's a revelation of the Creator, and it's applicable for today. And what we need to understand is not the literal understanding, but what we need to understand is the principle understanding. What is the principle behind the teachings? Because, we cannot relive what happened 3,000 years ago. It's impossible. We are not in the same situation. At that time, they didn't have automobiles. At that time, they didn't have electricity. At that time, they didn't have iPhone. There is so many things that we have today, and our understanding has changed. We have been enlightened in certain ways. Technologically, we have advanced incredible. And we are in a situation of sometimes that we get confused because supposedly the Torah conflict with science. And that's not true. But that's where sometimes people with limited understanding, sometimes they get confused. Then we need little by little to take you a step higher and to understand better without becoming you so spiritual. You spiritualize so much that you lose your understanding as a human being. That the Creator, I have been talking over and over again, He gave us what we call it bechira chofshi, free will. And this is a very important understanding. That this is the thing that makes us different from the animals, from the vegetables, and from anything else being created, even from the moon and the sun, and from the angels and everything else. We have free will. What I mean free will? That we can do whatever we want to? No. What it means is that we are responsible for our acts, for our actions. To do whatever we want to is to be libertine. To be responsible is to have free will. And that makes us different to the rest of the people. Then whatever you and I we do, we cannot pass the buck to somebody else. And many times, most of the religions, what they do, passing the buck. In Judaism sometimes, in rabbinical Judaism, sometimes they misunderstand the idea of the korban, the offering. It's not passing the buck, it's not to give it to the animal to pay for my sins. In Christianity, they pass the buck. They make a human sacrifice to pay for my sins. And in Islam, they have other ways. You martyr yourself or you give your life to go to paradise. Each one of them, they have the ways. But what the Torah teaches, each person is responsible for their own actions, and each person is going to pay for the things. And there is a way to come to the Creator, to teshuvah. And teshuvah is not say, I repent. Teshuvah is to come closer to the Creator, to acknowledge about our actions, and to repair them, and to start living in the right way. This is a process. That's what is teaching us the Torah. But many of us, we like, easy believism. We like formulas. We like 1, 2, 3. And that's not what the Creator is teaching us. In this portion, Shemini, start with the number 8. The number 8 in Gematria plays a very important role. The number 8 is called the new beginning. Also, it's called the number of the brit, or the pact, the alliance, the covenant, a new covenant. It's interesting. You finish Pesach, and you start an 8th day. This 8th day means that you have already passed. Now you start something new, counting again for something special, looking at Shavuot. Always is that process. Renewal. This is another idea. Renewal. We need to constantly to renew. Do you know that the largest organ that we have in the body is the skin? And do you know that the skin renews constantly? And sometimes it renews so fast that we start getting a little bit crispy, no? Okay? We say, slow down, don't renew too fast. Anyway, well, we are going to see that in this parasha, first of all, is the inauguration of the Kohanim, the priests. And there are going to be, interestingly, eight different korbanot. One olat and one hata'ah, o sea, one giving to elevation and the other for purgation. Hata'ah is translated as S-I-N, sin. I don't like it, that translation. Because hata'ah really what it means is to purge, to clean. Okay? When you take magnesium, that's a purging. That is the idea. You need to clean your system. Okay? All the what you have inside. Well, this is hata'ah. That's the high priest has 2 offerings, and that he needs to bring it himself. Not somebody else needs to give it to him. He needs to bring it. And then has 6 more for the rest of the people. 1 olah, again for the people. Okay? And then 2 hata'ah, 1 olah, 1 hata'ah, and then 2 shelamim, and 2 asham. Okay, this is the way. Let me see. Let me be sure. Well, there are 8. I hope they count 8. You can check it later. This is why it's so important to understand that the number 8 plays a role, a very important role. Okay? And it is giving to you the idea, restarting a new life, a new beginning. They start the Kohanim, they start the inauguration of the Mishkan, the sanctuary, the place of worship. And that is going to be the center of the attention for the people of Israel. And all Israel is going to see there what exactly is happening. Now, Another thing, and just before I get into the chapter 10 of this, one very interesting principle that is given in the Torah is about the Hagadol Kohen, the high priest, like any other person, is a sinner, or it's not totally perfect. Well, let me put it in that way, is better. Then he himself needs to do a special presentation to the Creator. There is no one that is perfect. In the Christian religion, they have made Jesus Christ perfect, without sin, because he is the Son of God and God incarnated. That's how they believe. Then, doing that, they need to make, I call it theological artifices, in order to demonstrate that he never had a sin. And you remember also in Christianity, there has a doctrine. The doctrine is the doctrine of the original sin. In other words, they believe that every person, every human being who is born, is already born defective and with sin. We inherited from Adam and Eva. And then, because of that, has been passed as in the DNA, we have passed the sin to everybody else. Everybody is a sinner. And doing that, what happened is the Yeshua, and for then Jesus Christ, he couldn't commit sin. He couldn't be born with sin. Then the Father is God himself, no? But the mother is a human being. Then how is passed through the humans the sin? Then the so-called Virgin Mary, she couldn't sin, but she was born of humans. Then they created another doctrine or dogma called the Immaculate Conception. And this doctrine of the Immaculate Conception means that Miriam was born without sin. All of those things to try to prove something that cannot be proved. Of course, you can teach whatever you want to teach. You want to believe what you want to believe. You are free to believe whatever you want to believe. But not because you believe it, that make it right. And this is something I keep telling people. No, not because you believe it, that make it right. And then people get very upset about that you don't know, you don't understand, you are whatever. Well, then this is this part. Then the next part comes chapter 10. In chapter 10, you are going to see this very difficult situation. The two elder children of Aharon, they decide to take over, and they are going to do their own worship. They're going to serve God. They are very excited, and they went inside the Mishkan to offer a special fire to the Creator. And in the moment that they get in, and it's called a strange fire, they are immediately fulminated. And being fulminated, that means they die immediately, instantaneously. Aharon was not allowed to mourn or to cry about this situation, and he kept silent. If you go with me to chapter 10 of this, the first chapter, the first verses in chapter 10. Let me read it to you. And the children of Aaron and Nadab and Abihud, they took the keters and they put a fire, and they put and the offering to the Lord a strange or a foreign fire, which the Creator has not ordained them. They have not given the command. Siva, we say there, had not given the command to do it. Okay? Then came a fire from above and fulminated them. Many of our sages, they compare this with the Egel Sahab, with the golden calf. And Aaron in chapter 32 in the book of Shemot, Exodus, he is going to say something similar, you know. He said that he put the gold and the things in the floor, and then came a fire, boom, voila, came a Gel Sahab, no, the golden calf. And here, basically, the children, they are going to introduce a fire that was not asked to do it, and they are killed. You know, midah keneg midah basically is the understanding, measure for measure. No, Aaron paid through that. There is another thing among the rabbis about this place. You know, to tell you about how a rabbi can see one way or the other on extremes. The other rabbi who said that these two young men were martyrs for the faith. And they gave their lives in the altar to clean the people of Israel. Was like a purification thing. Okay? There are others who say, no, totally the contrary. They were evil. They were bad. And they deserved the death. Because they were trying to take the place of Moshe and Aaron. In between these two extremes, there are a lot of things. Our sages and rabbis are very wise, and we can learn many things through them. But be careful that you don't go too far away. Then, what happened here? What is so important, this passage here? Because this is the moment of the climax of the people of Israel. They has finished the Mishkan, and the people of Israel are going to see this place as the center of all the relationship with the Creator. And the high priest was going to be the go-between, the intermediary. And that they needed to be very important. They needed to be clean. Okay? Tahor. All the tamei, all the bad things, they needed to be taken away. And in this way, the Creator is showing to them that they need to follow His instructions, not the instructions of men. Wow. If we still under that situation, how many of us will be disappearing so fast? You know? How many of us, especially among the most supposedly dedicated people in the religions, because they keep giving their own understanding, you know, and they're telling you, you need to do this, and you need to do that, and you cannot do this, and you cannot do that. And it's all of their thinking on the understanding. And here, what the Creator finally is saying it is, don't put words on my mouth. Don't try to put in a position that I have not given to you. Be careful not to take a position that you have not been given. Be careful that don't try to take over anybody's place when that is not your place to be. Be careful that you enthrone yourself because of your ego or your self-esteem needs to go up. A humble person is the one that knows his place and doesn't need to show anybody how great he or she is. And this is important to understand in this principle. There are many more things, and they talk a lot about this area. And many things say that they were drunk, because just after that it said, you shall not drink anything, and they were drunk. That was the reason that they were killed. Others say that there were they didn't have the right vestment, the right robes to be the high priest. Others say that they didn't wash their hands or their feet. There is a lot of things in our midrashim, in our storytelling of the rabbis, that they give explanations why in the Talmud. But I'm going to tell you, I don't need to look for a cause, because it's already directly here saying they offer something that they were not asked for. That's it. Why do I need to go more? Why do I need to know they were this, they were that, they were dressed in this way, they were dressed in that way, they had combed their hair or they didn't comb their hair? That's not important. What is important it is that they did something that they were not asked to do. And then this is a good teaching for all of us. Don't get ahead of everybody. Trying to go and to trying to see what is right and what is wrong. Because I go to the next step. In chapter 11 is about what we can eat, what we cannot eat. And it's based about they call it the kashrut laws or the kosher laws and all that is so important. Let me start in the negative way. Sorry, but I'm going to go to the positive way. The negative way is the kosher industry has become a big business. And right now, for a piece of meat that can cost, has a precious, a regular price, goes skyrocket, when you have kosher meat. Or whatever thing. Now they make kosher everything. Even the parve or pareve, the one that's neutral, they put a U, or they put a K, they put NK, they put, glad, all those terms. And each one of them, according to the different groups, one of them is more kosher than the other. And that has become a big industry, and you need to pay a lot of money. That was the intention of our Creator. That's what our Creator wanted, to create an industry. And where are those laws of kashrut? When he said you cannot eat this, that's all. About the shochet needs to be a right killing, but no, we need to do it in this way because this is the way that needs to be done. That is the Shevel Peh tell us what we cannot read in the Torah. Then we add it. We keep adding and adding and adding. And then, right now, for example, there are Coke can be kosher or cannot be kosher. You ask yourself, why? Because it can be infected with certain things, especially kosher for Pesach. For Pesach. Okay. What can you eat on Pesach? According to whom? According to which group? According to which understanding? It's very interesting. In the Torah, the only thing that they request to you for Pesach is not to eat leaven. That's all. Not that this flour has already been contaminated, can be contaminated. You cannot have racing stuff. You cannot have anything. The rabbi has made so many rules that right now it's almost impossible to eat anything. You cannot eat beans if you are a Ashkenazi. I am glad I am Sephardim. But you cannot eat beans, you cannot eat rice, you cannot eat this because they grow. Sorry? And then, how do you need to clean your house with hametz? Very simple, because I cannot clean my house with hametz. I make a little paper. I sell it to the neighbor, who is not a Jew, for this week. There is no mine anymore. I am free. What is the law? What is that in the Torah? Totally rabbinical. And depending which rabbi tell you what to do. Well, Christianity is not far away from that. It's the same thing. And Islam, even worse. Each one has their own rules and regulations. It has nothing to do with the Torah. It has nothing to do with the scriptures. They are totally man-made inventions. And this is the reason that I always say, in order to clarify this, I say that any type of tradition is good if we elevate the name of the Creator. But any type of tradition who instead of elevate the name of the Creator, elevate us as being better than the others, is wrong. And we need to be very careful. What do we do? Anyway, that's the name. Now the positive part, my understanding about kashrut. Okay, because sometimes people ask me this question. Kashrut at the beginning, why the Creator gave this law to Israel at the beginning? You need to go to the end of chapter 11, and then you are going to follow me a little bit. At the end of chapter 11, verses 45 to 47, say, I am the Lord, who I make you get out of Egypt. And remember the first commandment is always there, telling he's a God of history. He's not only a creation of man, he participated. He was visible. They saw him acting. Okay? And because I am your God to you, you shall be holy. And this is a portion that I need to clarify over and over and over and over again. Holy doesn't mean to be better than anybody and two sides. Holy means that you are set apart, being put in a place. You belong to something. That's what it means. You know, holy. Okay? Because I am holy. I am holy. The reason why we were given the kashrut laws, the kosher laws at that time, was very specific and very important to understand. To differentiate ourselves from the rest. To be different. We are not like the others. I always ask this question, it's also a rhetorical question. It's okay for God to say to Israel, don't eat this, but it's okay for the non-Jews to eat it? If that is going to destroy them? God will enjoy the destruction of the Gentiles? And only going to take care of the Jews, of the Israel? There needed to be a different intention from the Creator. Was not for healthy reason, like many people say that the kashrut laws is based on health, on healing, on more pure. Because the veggies, those who are vegetarians, they will say that God was wrong because He's giving us food, meat to eat. You know, or for those who supposedly they eat only what is right. You know, I cannot. How are I going to eat pork? You know, if pork is destructive. But it's okay that the rest of the world eats pork. It's okay that they kill themselves, but not us. There was a different reason. First of all, there were about basic reasons. And the basic reasons were about the animals that were chosen. And secondly, to make a separation from us with the rest. In modern times, the best way they can, by the way, only a matter of inputting something. Most of the rabbis, including my dear teacher, Rambam Maimonides, they say that when the Messiah comes, all the kashrut laws are going to disappear. That is in Judaism 101, by the way. Okay? But this is, what is important here is, why this is important? Because that created a division, external division from all the rest of the people of the world, that we were different to them. That was separation. We were separated. We do not do what they do. That was the idea. Because we needed to be an example to them. Okay? To the rest of the world. We needed to be Or Legoyim. Now, today, people ask me about kashrut. And and I say to them, Yeshua gave me a lot of understanding about kashrut in the way that he talked to his people. By the way, what he said it is, do not worry about what you put inside the mouth. And he's not talking about the kashrut laws, by the way. What he's talking about how you eat. That the word washing of the hands. Okay? Don't worry about what you put in your mouth. Worry about what comes out of your mouth. Okay? Now, look at this. Do not worry about how you are dressed. Worry about what you have inside. He gave another example. When he talked about the Perushim, the Pharisees. The Pharisees, and today you ask any Orthodox Jew, and they call themselves the modern Perushim. Pharisees. They call themselves Pharisees. And then, today, most of them, they had the uniform. Dressed all in black, white shirt, black hat, and everything else. Everybody who sees them, they look like a uniform, and everybody they look the same. I told you this before. I remember one time I was going to this side of Montreal where the Orthodox Jews are all together, and one lady that it was it's not a Jew, and she was with me, and she said to me, "Oh, look at that little rabbi." That was a little boy dressed in black and white. For her, all of them that were dressed like that, they are rabbis. And that to tell you an idea what the Gentiles, they think about us sometimes. But here is why they are dressing that way, because there is no difference between them. They are all separated by the Creator, and they are in black because they are mourning for the destruction of the Mishkan. And the day that they rebuild the Mishkan, they're going to dress again in white. At the time of Yeshua, when there was a Mishkan, how they were dressed? All in white robes. And being dressed in white robes, what happened? They called themselves, pure, because they were holy. They were, according to them, they were clean for outside. And how he compared them? With the tombs. Whitewashed tombs. Those tombs of marble, white, pure, very bright from outside, but what was inside? Rottenness. Then, this is the idea about kashrut. For me, kashrut is what comes out. And today, it is not what you eat, what you don't eat, how you walk or how you don't walk. It is what is coming from inside you, who you really are. A true kosher person is the person who acts and does what he says or she says. What you see is what you get. No less, no more. Today, the world lives under images and masks and appearances. It's not interesting that in the Greek language, the word to put a mask was a hypocrite. And we are living in a life of hypocrisy. And this is the true kashrut, the true kosher before the Creator. Each one of us, we need to be kosher, to be in order. Kosher means to be doing the things in the right way. That's what kosher means. And you know what? You can eat the most kosher food in the world, glad and super glad. But if your heart is not right, you are the most unkosher person. Then it's not the food, it's what comes inside you. And this is the problem that we have. Because we are more worried about what the people say than what we are. Do you know that right now in the United Nations, the most attacked country in the world is Israel? Little bitty Israel. And it's the country that has the highest standards of justice than any other country in the world. With all their mistakes, they are more proactive for justice than any other country in the world. You know, they are all over the world helping people. Little bitty Israel, giving a lot to everybody else. More than United States, more than the Soviet Union, more than the European powers. Little bitty Israel. Okay? And they are always looking for justice. Sadek, sadek tirdof. Justice, justice, pursue justice. That is our team. And the idea why we are punished by the world, because we are the only ones that we're looking for justice. And the rest of the world, you know, when the Soviet Union, Russia attacks Israel and say that we are not doing what is right to the poor Palestinians. When Syria, who has killed children, say that we are destroying the Palestinians. The ISIS and all these people who they kill among themselves, they say that Israel is the killing country. And the European, the holier than thou, that right now they don't know what to do with themselves and being destroyed from within. And I don't talk about United States or Canada because it's sad too. The true kashrut, the true kosher, is an individual who made the things right. That it is what the Creator was trying to tell us. We need to separate today, not by the cosmetics any longer, but we need to separate ourselves from what we have inside and we bring out. And that's what Yeshua said. You know, it's interesting. Yeshua said, do not judge your brother for the little speckle that has in his own eyes before you look at the big log that you have in your own eyes. Don't point to anybody. There are 3 fingers back to you. This is to be a true Israelite, calling by God, to be separated by the world, and to be or legojin, to be light to the world. Then, when the inauguration of Shemini, the 8th day, the Kohenim, and the Mishkan, we become called by God to be a special people. And this special people, we want it or not, and that's the problem. There are many Jews, many Israelites, that they do not want to be Jews anymore. They don't want to be Israelites. You know why? It's too heavy, the responsibility. Do you remember in Fiddler on the roof, Tavia, when he is praying to God and said in one moment and say, I know that we are called the chosen people, but can you choose somebody else for a while? Why? Because it's a great responsibility. My dear friends that you're here, this morning I want to tell you, maybe you were not born with Jewish blood, but God called you to be part of Israel. And that put it in your heart, called you by Yikra. He called you. And when you become part of Israel, you are going to suffer like Israel suffered. You are going to be persecuted, you are going to be put down, and the people are going to look you in bad ways. But that's not a high price to pay. It's an honor to be part of the Creator. Shabbat Shalom.